Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2022 Annual General Meeting of Southeast Community Links. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we meet on today, the Bunurong people, pay respects to elders past, present and emerging, and especially pay respects to First Nations people that have joined us today. Welcome to our AGM. We're pleased you could join us, where we have the opportunity to reflect and share some of the achievements over the last year, as well as the challenges as we emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic. It's fitting that today's AGM and event is in line with Anti-Poverty Week, where across Australia, almost 2 million people live below the poverty line, and almost 1 million of those are kids. Where the work of organisations such as Southeast Community Links not only offers support and services for people at risk, but also looks at the structural inequalities and barriers that people face. So before we get into the AGM, I'd like to, and the formal business of the AGM, I'm very excited to announce today that we're launching a digital campaign for youth, in particular, youth from migrant and refugee backgrounds. I'd like to welcome and say hello to Jessie Tang from the Seckle Youth Links team, who's going to facilitate and launch this campaign for us today. Hi, Jessie.
Hey, Peter, thank you so much. So this campaign is very timely, as October is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's a time to learn more about mental health and well-being, and especially how we can care for ourselves and others. At Seckle, we care about young people's social and emotional well-being. We know that the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic continue to impact many people, including youth. However, we also know that exercise, positive relationships, and sleep have many benefits to well-being. We enlisted the help of Seckle superhero and Melbourne comedian Diana Nguyen to develop a series of videos to help young people develop healthy behaviours and positive social connections. The Victorian Government has funded the campaign through the Multicultural Communications Outreach Program. The Minister for Multicultural Affairs, the Honorary Ross Spence MP, sent her apologies today and said, "I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all those connected to Southeast Community Links and extend my best wishes for this year's general meeting and campaign launch. The work you do to champion young people in multicultural communities is to be commended, and I look forward to continuing to partner with Seckle well into the future." We thank the Minister for her support. I also wanted to say a big thank you to the young people who starred in these videos, which are available in English, Burmese, Dari, and Arabic. We're lucky to have 2 of these stars here with us today. Please welcome the wonderful Khadija Ahmed and Husham Juma Juma. Khadija is a former Seckle youth leader, and today she works with us as a bicultural worker. Khadija, can you share with us a little bit about your journey to Seckle?
Sure. Hi, everyone. For those of you who doesn't know me, my name is Khadija. I came to Australia 16 years ago as refugees along with my family members. Well, the start of Seckle was when I was little. One day a Seckle staff member actually came to our house and knocked on our doorstep and saying, my name is this and that, and we have an organization that opened in Springvale, come and check it out. But at that time, we didn't know anyone in Australia or speak any languages, or especially the English. Like, we just smile. That's what we did. But from there, I have joined Seckle youth leader programs, LTP programs, homo support programs, and these programs just make me more confidence, I guess, and the freedom of, nowadays I'm driving, from east to south to west, just I guess control more of my life now, and also the power to actually work as a bicultural worker and empower my community and support in any way that I could possibly can. That's all thanks to the Seckle staff that I met at the beginning. Without the effort, hard work, and the passion that they put into the works that they did. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them as well. And I think, yeah, as a bicultural worker now, I'm proud and always be grateful for, the opportunity that was presented to me. And I'm happy at every moment working as a bicultural worker.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's amazing to see how a SECL worker knocking on your door led to where you are now, 16 years later. Thank you. And you did an amazing job under Every Person Counts Youth Mental Health campaign. Can you tell us a bit about the challenges that migrant and refugee youth have experienced as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, so during pandemics, for my family members, we did lost a relatives to COVID-19. But more so we felt isolated, disconnected from family members, community services, and the community overall as well. Like many other multicultural, I guess, community, my community also struggle with the language barrier as well during the COVID. So they're trying to understand the law around COVID as well. And the language barrier still is the main, I guess I would say the weakness in my community as well. But most of the young people, especially me as well, like I couldn't able to see my families, and some of my family members did take it over, I guess, and become obsessive of the virus. So there was fear that, there was a point where my family members were like, please don't come to my place if you have this and that, and, don't come, just don't come. So in a way, I felt sort of sad or rejected in some way. But I'm pretty sure like the youngest one, like my niece and my nephews, they all felt the same way as well during the pandemic.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm really sorry to hear about your loss. Yeah, I think I can definitely agree that COVID was hard for all of us in terms of the isolation, but it's particularly difficult, and there's that extra nuance there for people from migrant and refugee backgrounds. So thank you again for sharing that. And I'll throw to Hisham now. You're also a former youth leader and a long-term friend of SECL. We can see your very strong acting skills in the video series. You're very passionate about acting. Can you tell us about how you developed a love for acting through the SECL program called SEACT?
So I was involved with the SEACT program back in, I think, around 2013. And at that time, I was still in high school. So once around that time, I was trying to decide a career choice. And I happened to be in the SEACT program, and I really did have a love for performing. And that's what I decided to pursue. And what SEACT program has allowed me to do is to meet and be supported by really really experienced people, and it's really grounded me in my training as well. Deeper listening, confidence, it's given me the confidence to be on stage and just to be able to improvise, something I couldn't do beforehand. And yeah, I think that is an experience that I have taken and has literally been with me since that day until today, and I still use those skills today.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think we can all attest as well how programs like these are like a great gateway to careers and pathways in more unconventional careers, to put in air quotes. And Hisham, this was a youth-led project. Why do you think it's important to have youth voices in communication about topics like mental health?
I think it's really important to hear what the youth are going through from their own not imagination, but like from their own perspective, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So really hearing them for what they're really going through, it's quite really important, I feel. And it just gives them being given a platform to be able to speak about topics that I guess you can't speak to a lot of people about, through the bonds and like relationships we form in those groups and the work that we do. We were given that opportunity to be heard by the community, but also with each other, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. And again, totally agree that it's super important that programs and communications are led by young people and by community so that, again, our experiences are elevated and expressed in an authentic way. So thank you so much to both Khadija and Hisham for sharing your experiences and thoughts. I'm now delighted to show you 3 of the videos. So the first video we have is in English, and it's young people sharing their ideas about how to live a fit and healthy lifestyle.
Where are you going?
The past couple of years have been hard. I have learned that when I exercise, I feel better. So I'm heading to play basketball.
Oh, that's cool.
When I'm feeling low or stressed out, the best thing I can do is to get up and move my body. Even 10 minutes of exercise makes a difference.
Yeah, I don't really go out. I feel tired most days.
Do you have any hobbies or play sports?
Not really.
Perhaps you can try some activities.
TikTok dancing video, gardening, playing soccer, beach, setting up a picnic with friends, go for a hike up a mountain, dancing to cultural dances, talking to friends while walking outdoors, roller coaster ride.
Want to give it a go?
Nah, I have a fear of heights.
Haha, I mean basketball.
Oh,
Sure.
you know I'm pretty good. Are you sure?
Okay, LeBron James, show me what you got.
How amazing was that? And now we have the second video, which is delivered in Burmese, and it covers the topic of coping with stress, which features Khadija.
Hey, ညကဘယ်နှစ်နာရီအိပ်တာလဲ
Oh hi 10နာရီမဟုတ်9နာရီလောက်ပဲ
9နာရီဒါဆိုမလုံလောက်ဘူးဒါကြောင့်ညမပင်ပန်းနေတယ်ထင်တယ်လေးလာချက်အရာည9နာရီကနေ10နာရီအိပ်ဖို့လိုအပ်တယ်လို့ပြောထားတယ်
အဲ့ရင်မွားတဲ့အခါကျွန်တော်တို့ဘဝတွေမှာစိတ်တော်ကားကိုထိန်းချုပ်ဖို့ပိုခက်ပါတယ်
လွန်ခဲ့တဲ့နှစ်နှစ်အတွင်းမှာခက်ခဲခဲ့တယ်ညမရောဘာတွေလုပ်နေလဲ
အားလုံးပဲအလုပ်ကြောင်းမိသားစု
စိတ်လွတ်လပ်ဖို့နီလန်တစ်ခုခုကိုရှာရမယ်
ဘယ်လိုလုပ်ရမလဲ
တခြားနီလန်တစ်ခုခုရှာကြည့်ကြစို့
အိမ်ရမဝင်ခင်အနည်းဆုံးတစ်နာရီလောက်အလိုမှာဗီဒီယိုဂိမ်း TV နဲ့လူမှုရေးမီဒီယာတွေကိုပိတ်လိုက်ပါတငယ်ချင်းနဲ့ဖုန်းစကားပြောနေရင်လမ်းလျှောက်ထွက်ပါဒါမှမဟုတ်ခွေးနဲ့အတူလမ်းလျှောက်ထွက်ပါ TikTok ကြည့်မဲ့အစား TikTok ရိုက်ပါပြီးတော့အိမ်မှာနေပြီးအဲ့ဒါကိုစဉ်းစားနေမဲ့အစားညီမရဲ့မတ်စုစာအုပ်ကွန်ပျူတာမှာစာရေးပါဒါမှမဟုတ်ညီမအခုလာတွေ့တယ်လို့လာတွေ့နိုင်ပါတယ်
အမရဲ့အလုပ်ကညီမတို့ရဲ့ခံစားချက်တွေကိုနားလည်ပေးဖို့နဲ့နားထောင်ဖို့ပါပဲညီမတို့အတွက်အမတို့အမြဲတမ်းရှိနေပါတယ်ဒီနေ့အခက်အခဲအားလုံးတွေကိုဖြေရှင်းဖို့မလိုပါဘူးကောင်းပြီတရေနဲ့မတူအောင်နည်းနည်းသွားအိတ်လိုက်အောင်
That was amazing, Khadija. Great job on that. And I think we should all definitely take that advice as well and get enough sleep so we're not zombies at work. And finally, we have our third video, which is in Arabic, and that focuses on healthy relationships. And we've got Hisham in this video.
أنا شاكلت مع صاحباني
شنو حصل؟
أنا شفت صاحبي حتى مين في السوشيال ميديا أنا ما بكون مرتاح
وانت كلمتهم؟
أنا خايف كان أنا قلت حاجة وهو ما بريدني
ممكن صحبانك الصحيح قل لهم انت بتحس كيف مهم تفهموا بعض وتسمعوا لبعض كان صحبان ما تظلموا بعض ما دائما شارع دغري سبحاننا بيساعدونا بيشجعونا ويحبونا صحبانك ما كويسين معك بيعصر معك ما تخجل ممكن تخلي صحبانك الما كويسين ضغط صعب للصحة
أنا ما أدري نفجر
لحد انت تحس مقبول بصحبانك وتكون نفسك
يلاقى مع ناس شهر كتير
وكان عندك صحبان الكويسين أي حاجة 100%.
That was brilliant, Hisham. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Khadija, as well, for your contributions and also coming to the AGM today. And just an FYI, these are going live tonight on our socials, I think at 5:30. So definitely share it widely with your community, share it with the young people in your lives so that this message is spread this far and wide as possible. And I'll now pass it back to Peter.
Thanks, Jess, Hushan, Khadija, and I think that's it. Yeah, the three of you, thank you very much for that. It was amazing. And as Jess shared, they'll be released tonight to the broad community. I would also, now we'll move on to the formal dealings of the AGM, and I'd like to welcome Ross Hepburn and Fiona Garside. Ross Hepburn is the chair of Southeast Community Links, has been a member of the community and worked in the local community for over 35 years across local government, sport, business and community. Ross is also the chair of Cricket Victoria, and in a minute I'll pass across to Ross. Fiona Garside is the treasurer of SECL. Fiona has been on the board as a treasurer since 2018 and holds degrees in commerce, economics, and is a fellow of the Association of Chartered Accountants in the UK. I'm not sure if that means you're in the UK, but I don't think that's the case, Fiona, but thank you and welcome today. I'll pass across to you, Ross.
Thanks, Peter, very much. And I'd like to begin by also acknowledging the traditional owners of the various lands on which we're meeting today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I'd also particularly like to welcome everybody that's online today. And at last count, we were something around about the 90 mark. So that's a very impressive group that's attending the Southeast Community Links AGM today. This online AGM is being held due to an abundance of caution given the pandemic that we've been through. But I can assure you that your board plans to be back at 5 Osborne Avenue for a traditional AGM and a festive celebratory afternoon tea next year. I'd also like to include in the minutes of this meeting all the registered attendees as participants today, and also to accept quite an extensive list of apologies, all of which will be recorded in the minutes. However, I just want to have a special shout out to a few people that are online with us. First of all, to all the paid up Southeast Community Links members, welcome to you all. To all my board colleagues, to Meng Heng Tak MP and to Luke Donnellan MP who are online with us. To all former SCAB, DCAB and SEAC board members and staff, and I noticed that there's quite a large number of you online. To our fellow co-tenants at 5 Osborne Avenue, the South East Monash Legal Service, there's some board members, I think the CEO online as well, and also members from the Springvale Neighbourhood House and the Springvale Learning and Activity Centre. We certainly welcome you all today. I've got a couple of apologies that I'd particularly like to mention. Julian Hill MP, the federal member for Bruce, Gary Mass MP, the member for Narre Warren South, Claudia Ribeiro, the senior policy officer for the Department of Families, Fairness and Housing, Sue Seymour, the team leader, Agency Performance and System Support for the Southern Division of the Department of Families, Fairness and Housing, Georgia Horn, the Executive Officer, Western Port Community Support Service, Anne Catanese, a former manager with us and a SECL member, Ros Spence, the Minister for Prevention of Family Violence and Minister for Community Sport, and Mr. John Benny, the outgoing CEO of the City of Greater Dandenong. We record those and all the other apologies. The minutes of the previous meeting have all been circulated, and I'd like someone to move that they be confirmed as a true and accurate record of the meeting held on the 15th of November 2022. And I can see Dara Tang moving that and Chris James seconding that for us. And I'll put that motion. All those in favour, there being no objections, we've passed the minutes of the previous meeting. Thank you. I'd also just like to give a brief overview of my chair's message, which is contained in full in the annual report, which will be available immediately at the conclusion of this meeting. This year, South East Community Links' work has reached over 25,000 community members and their children, positively impacting their lives through essential services and support. Our strong community links have been at the heart of SECL's response to the ongoing impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, and our annual report highlights our journey to strengthen and build these links, helping community members overcome hardships and create better futures for themselves and their families. This year, the board was very pleased to launch our new strategic plan, Strategy 2025, Triple Our Impact. And this, underpinned by our vision of every person counts and every system being fair, outlined 5 goals to expand our scale and impact, responding to increased demand exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. We're pleased to report that our programs and services directly reached more than 6,000 community members over the past 12 months, reaching 25,000 people, including their children. Our financial position, as you'll learn from our treasurer later, remains strong, with almost 5.6 million of revenue and a small surplus. New funding from the Victorian Government and the Australian Government and Vic Health has seen our Youth Links team expand to meet the needs of migrant and refugee youth who have struggled with the ongoing impacts of the pandemic. I'm particularly proud to see that the Australian Government supported our evidence-informed development of the new MERL program, named after our founder, Merle Mitchell AM, honouring her legacy as a renowned and respected social justice advocate. The program will create an environment where at-risk youth from culturally diverse backgrounds will be able to experience positive involvement at home, school, with friends, and in the community. The leadership of our Chief Executive Officer, Peter McNamara, and his management team has been outstanding during these difficult times. And the team of talented individuals that make up not only our management team, but all across our staff and volunteers and students have amplified the advocacy agenda that we have, and we've amplified the client's voice, advocating for systems changes, especially in financial services. We've also provided insights and learnings to inform stakeholders about key issues such as the rising cost of living, financial abuse, and barriers to vaccination for culturally diverse communities. My gratitude goes especially to my fellow board directors who have provided strong governance and strategic oversight during this challenging period. I'd like to recognise and thank our retiring treasurer, Fiona Garside, who has made a significant contribution over the past 4 years, in addition to our staff, director position, and staff representative Rachna Madame Bowman, who has completed her 4-year terms and will move into a director position, reflecting her deep experience as a strong consumer advocate. The board is very positive about the year ahead, with new programs underway and a deeply committed and capable team driving SECL's vision and purpose. I thank each and every one of you. On a final note, I was delighted to see that South East Community Links received the award for the Community Organisation of the Year by the City of Greater Dandenong. This award recognises innovation and community capacity building, which reaches hard-to-reach populations and promotes harmony across cultures. It's an honour to work alongside our team of volunteers, funders, staff, students, partners and supporters to deliver improved social and economic outcomes for everyone in our local communities. Thank you. Just before handing over to Peter McNamara, I'd like to give a special shout out to Mr. John Benny, the outgoing CEO of the City of Greater Dandenong. Over more than a decade, John has been one of the instrumental people in ensuring that Southeast Community Links has continued to be serviced and supported by the City of Greater Dandenong. And we thank John and all his staff, and of course the elected councillors of the City of Greater Dandenong. I'd now like to call on our CEO, Peter McNamara, to give his report and to officially present the Southeast Community Links annual report.
Thanks, Ross, and hello again, everyone. As we emerge and learn from the COVID-19 pandemic, what's become more evident than ever before is the importance of culturally appropriate and place-based community services to ensure we have a thriving and engaged community. As you heard from Khadija earlier, the challenges of communication and trust are real in our community. And I'm very proud that over the last 12 months and going back to 2020 when the pandemic first hit, that we have offered appropriate, safe, affordable information for communities about vaccination, about health and inclusion. Yet on top of all this right now, we're seeing the impacts of the cost of living on our community. We're seeing people come to us with challenges around housing, rent affordability, bill affordability, financial abuse, access to appropriate transport to be able to get a job or to be able to stay in education. Over the last 12 months, SECL allocated over $1 million in emergency relief to the local community. That's an extraordinary number. It ranges from food parcels, food vouchers, transport supports, mobile phone help. Within this, we supported just on 10,000 individuals and families in our region. What's also added to that and aligned to our values is that SECL put in $200,000 of our own funds to support the frontline services emergency relief, which again is a reflection of the values of the organisation and the value we put on the community. The challenge within that is that these are structural problems. Many of these are policy designed poverty issues. And for organisations, small and medium organisations such as SECL, to be putting up significant money into the community, there has to be a question. There has to be a question of why is this? Where's the gap? Why isn't government filling this gap? Because it's not sustainable for many to be able to continue that. So we will continue and ensure the advocacy around the issues of structural inequality, as we have over the last 12 months, continue, and we'll ensure that we invest in the community that we support and live amongst. I also want to acknowledge within my update the growing trend and issues we've acknowledged and responded to when it comes to family violence and financial abuse, in particular when it comes to our financial counselling service, where we've seen 1 in 3 identify as either a victim or survivor of financial abuse. We've seen over 400 women who have been directly supported or referred into services to ensure their own safety over the last 12 months. Our programs have adapted to the changing community needs, responding to the Afghan humanitarian crisis, where we're seeing post-migration stresses and anxiety for newly members of the community, but also equally those who have been stuck in limbo for many years on visas or outcomes they're waiting upon, and the pressures and anxiety that's put on them and their community. We've adapted our programs ranging from driver education to employment, to education programs, to youth programs to serve the emerging community as well as the established. I also want to acknowledge the partners on the line. I want to acknowledge the federal government, the state government, the local government, as well as the community partners who turn up every day, who we work with to bring about inclusion for our community. We can't do this, and nor should we ever do this on our own. We do this through partnerships. We welcome partnerships, but we thank you. We can't do it without you. So thank you for your commitment to the community and your trust in SECL over the last 12 months and beyond. I want to thank the chair and the board for their resolve, for their determination during a rapidly evolving period where they volunteer their time to the organisation. It takes a huge effort for those who are involved as directors of whether SECL or other organisations to commit your time and energy to the community at such a level. So I especially want to thank the directors and Ross for their support and governance over the last 12 months. Equally, I want to thank the team. Your unwavering commitment to your community. While you've been living with the pandemic yourselves, you've never blinked, you've never faltered in turning up, in evolving our programs, in filling the gaps, in partnering with more organisations. I think there's another 20 organisations over the last 12 months that SECL has partnered with to support our community. Our volunteers, our students, and our paid staff, your resolve and your commitment is inspiring. And I thank you for that effort over the last 12 months and the opportunities ahead. The annual report, within that, you'll see that as Ross mentioned, we launched our strategic plan last year. And we had the audacious goal of tripling our impact over the next 4 years. And importantly, within that, we made the commitment to our members, to our partners, to our clients, and equally to ourselves, that would be transparent about our tracking of that. We want to see how we're going. We want to show you how we're tracking so we can hopefully exceed that goal. But if we're not, why we're not exceeding those goals. So you're going to see in the annual report, not just the importance of the financials, but equally important that we're living to our values and we're achieving outcomes for our community. So there's some very exciting outcomes within that, including increased reach. We're now into an additional 2 sites in the region. Increased advocacy, where the team have volunteered their time to create an advocacy working group with others. And we made over 7 submissions to the federal and state government about policy issues or solutions to policies. We also put the radar on issues with the media on over 8 occasions, through local media, through ABC TV, through Channel 9, through radio as well, about the issues on a local basis. So we look forward to reporting back on that. I encourage or offer anyone who receives the annual report that's on our website to, if you have any questions, if you have any queries, or you see opportunities for us through partnerships or improvements, to reach out to myself or any of the team. For now, I'd like to pass back to Ross and acknowledge again the great effort of this organisation over the last 12 months. Thanks, Ross.
Thanks, Peter, for that report. Having already seen a copy of the annual report myself, I would certainly recommend it as must reading for everybody after they've dealt with this annual general meeting today. I'd like to now call for a motion that the annual report and the chair's report and the CEO's report of the activities of the association for the past year be adopted. And I can see Jan Cormack moving that motion and Knowles Tivendale seconding that motion. I presume there's no formal discussion required, and I put that motion. All in those in favour say aye, to the contrary no. I think the ayes have it. Thank you very much. I'd now like to call on the Treasurer, Fiona Garside, to present the financial report for the financial year just finished. Thank you, Fiona.
Thanks, Ross. Thanks, Peter. Thanks for the kind words before. And also thanks to Jesse, Khadija and Hisham on that great video. It was a brilliant little piece, and Diana looked like she was having way too much fun making that. So it looked amazing. Thank you. Hi to members and guests, and thanks for your attendance at the SECL AGM today. It covers the financial results for the period July 2021 to June 2022. I'd like to say thanks for the contribution from all the staff, the board and the volunteers for their amazing work over the past 12 months. I congratulate them on their dedication to delivering our programs and getting the best possible outcomes for the clients of Seckel. From a financial perspective, I'd like to thank the auditors at Haynesmuir Hill for their continuing advice and support, and our in-house finance team who did a brilliant job and delivered an excellent set of results this year. So the financial year 2021 audited figures are summarised in the annual report, including the profit and loss, balance sheet and cash flow statement. A full set of auditors' reports are available on request, but the rest of those will be within the annual report available after the meeting. This is the 6th full year of operations for Seckel, and I'll take you through some of the headline numbers for the last financial year. So for the year ended 30th of June 2022, Seckel recorded a surplus of $28,000 at a profit margin of around 1%, which was spot on budgeted expectations. Total income for the year was $5.6 million, which was in line with budget, and it included over $1 million of new program business, which was a great achievement by the team. Total grant income for the funders increased by nearly 7% year on year, and other income rose slightly due to the return after post-COVID of outposted worker fees. So since the inception of Seckel 6 years ago, income has grown by over 22%. And the cumulative profit from this period is over $600,000. So from an organisational perspective, this has allowed Seckel to attract and retain the best quality people and provides time to deliver on the strategic vision of the board and CEO. Our current year's budget reflects these goals by building on relationships with local, state and federal government, all of whom we thank for their continued support. Our main cost driver is employee costs, which rise in line with award agreements and inflation. And we've seen an increase in employee costs during the year of 5%, whilst headcount has remained fairly flat, with an average staff full-time equivalent number of 43.5. The staff of Seckel is its greatest asset. So we continue our focus on investing in their training and development and are working hard to rebuild a strong pool of volunteers, which was severely reduced during the pandemic. As the impact of lockdowns and cost of living increases continue to be felt by the wider community, we have seen a significant rise in emergency relief payments. This additional ER spend helped push up our operational costs by over 20% year on year. However, the organisation considers this support, ER support, to be vital to Seckel's ongoing role in the local community. We continue to invest in marketing and comms and expanding our social media profile, and have received wide praise for the MERL program launch. The board and CEO believe it is vitally important to maintain a visible presence across the local areas we support, and are very excited about our new office space in Noble Park. So by focusing on the strategic plan and managing costs effectively, we aim to have a budget surplus of $50,000 for the current financial year 22-23, and we are forecasting income of $6.7 million. Which includes $1.5 million of new business tenders, which will be submitted by the CEO and management team. We continue to seek strategic partners that align with our social mandate and involvement. Seckel is in a sound financial position with strong liquidity. All current and deferred liabilities remain covered. So as at 30 June 2022, the accumulated surplus was $1.43 million and cash at hand is $4 million. So Seckel continues its policy to provide for contingencies such as long service leave payments, and we are guided by our auditors and finance team in arriving at the appropriate amount. Please refer to the statement by our auditors who have issued an unqualified opinion on the accounts. They have been prepared in order to meet the requirements of the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profit Commission Act, and they also comply with other reporting standards and professional reporting requirements. Many thanks for your time today. That's pretty much a wrap on the finances, and I'll pass back to Ross to pass the relevant motions.
Thanks very much, Fiona, for that comprehensive report. And we thank also the staff, particularly Kayleen, for assisting with the finances during the course of the year. I'd now like to accept a motion that the finance report as presented by the Treasurer be adopted, and I can see that Fiona herself is moving that motion and Mariam Ritchie is seconding the motion. I presume there's no formal discussion. I thank everybody, and I put that motion that the Treasurer's report be adopted. All those in favour, to the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. Thank you very much. I'd like to put the second motion that Haynes-Muir Hill be reappointed as auditors for the forthcoming year. And again, I see that motion has been moved by Fiona Garside and seconded by Mariam Ritchie. And I would again like to put that motion that the auditors be reappointed for the forthcoming year. All those in favour say aye. To the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. Thank you very much. I mentioned that Fiona is resigning effective at the end of the AGM today. And on behalf of the board and the management, I'd just like to thank her again for a very strong 4 years sitting in the finance chair. She returned to Melbourne in 2013 after some solid experience overseas, and had joined us as treasurer in 2018 and has steered us very successfully. Although we went through some rocky periods there for a while, we've certainly come out on top, and we've again had a record revenue year, which is not significant alone of itself, but the level of revenue signifies the level of funding which we receive, and therefore the level of support which we can give our clients and the community. So Fiona, we thank you very much for your strong support over 4 years. We understand the difficulties of jostling a career and a growing family with a voluntary board position. And we hope that when the family gets a bit older, you may see your way clear to rejoining us at some stage in the future. But on behalf of us all, thank you very much for your contribution.
Thanks, Ross.
And I noted a lot of applause there. Thank you very much. Even though people are very muted, there was significant applause there. Thank you. We now move on to the board election situations. 2 members retire by rotation, and they have been duly moved and proposed and seconded by their fellow colleagues on the board, and the paperwork is all in order. And I refer to Deborah Remfry and Mariam Ritchie, and both of those candidates have been successful board members for some time, and being eligible offer themselves for re-election. And as they are the only nominees, I am happy to declare them elected for a 2-year term commencing at the close of this annual general meeting this evening. Congratulations to both Deborah and to Mariam. As mentioned in my report, I also noted that Rachna has completed her 4-year term as the staff rep, the maximum term allowed. And I'd like to advise that Andrea Shepherd has been as the staff rep for the forthcoming year. Andrea has a Bachelor of Design and a graduate certificate in Development Studies. She is currently studying for her Master of Social Work, and she has worked with SECL for 8 years after starting as a volunteer originally with the Springvale Community Aid and Advice Bureau in 2014. She is currently the Senior Practitioner Inclusion and Family Violence Prevention in the Settlement and Family Violence Prevention team, and I'm happy on behalf of the board to welcome Andrea Shepherd as the staff rep for the forthcoming season, and I'm sure she'll make a significant and valuable contribution to the board. I'd now like to move on to the topic of life memberships. This year represents 7 years since SCAB, DCAB and SEAC merged to become Southeast Community Links. The original Southeast Community Links Constitution of 2015 did not contemplate life members, no doubt an oversight at the time. Earlier this year, the Southeast Community Links Board resolved to make a specific regulation establishing SECL life memberships. We made a two-part regulation. The first is that SECL life memberships will automatically be bestowed on everybody that has previously been awarded life memberships of DCAB, SCAB or SEAC. We will, over the forthcoming period, be in a position to recognise all those people that have been previously recognised and to just renew their overall connection with our Southeast Community Links organisation. And the second part of the regulation was to enable the board to recommend up to 2 worthy recipients each year for members who have given 8 or more years exceptional service to the organisation, and that the board would put them up for approval by the members assembled at the AGM. On behalf of the board, I am very pleased to recommend 2 candidates to be installed as life members of Southeast Community Links. The first person to be recommended is Deborah Remfry. Deborah joined the SCAB board first in 2004, while she was intricately involved in the future direction and services at the Dandenong organisation, working then for the Dandenong Development Board. She was deputy chair of SCAB from 2005-06 through to the merger in 2015. She relinquished the deputy role to Angela Kriakopoulos of DCAB at the merger date, and then regained the position in 2016 when Angela retired for health and work reasons. And I also welcome Angela onto the call today. And then Deb relinquished the position in 2019 in favour of Sarah Lowe. At the annual general meeting in October 22, Deb Remfry is hereby recommended for life membership of Southeast Community Links. And I notice that that motion is going to be moved by Fiona Garside and seconded by Chris James. And I'd like to put the motion that this annual general meeting elects Deborah Remfry into life membership of Southeast Community Links. All those in favour? To the contrary, no. Carried with acclamation. Thank you very much and congratulations, Deb. The second person that the board would like to nominate for life membership of Southeast Community Links is Jan Cormack. Jan is currently the Vice Chair of Southeast Community Links and has also acted on occasions both as the CEO for the former Springvale Community Aid and Advice Bureau and also the CEO for the former Dandenong Community Advisory Bureau. Jan was employed in the Australian Public Service for over 40 years prior to retiring in August 2012. She predominantly worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs and Centrelink and was formerly the Department of Social Security. Jan's last position held was the Regional Manager of Stakeholders and Community in the Eastern Zone, where she was responsible for working with many government departments, both state and federal, and where the formation of partnerships was vital to support community members. Jan was also vital for the performance of the 3 Medicare outlets and 5 Centrelink sites. Having completed her secondary education at McRobertson Girls High School some time ago, and holding a Bachelor of Business in Public Administration from RMIT, which Jan passed with distinction, in 2008, Jan received the Minister for Human Services Award for exemplary services to customers and stakeholders, and an Australia Day Medal for achievement in 2011. Jan joined the SCAB board in 2013 and now continues as a board member in Southeast Community Links. She stood in as acting CEO at SCAB when Anna Hall was ill, and is currently the deputy chair and former secretary of the SECL board, and chairs our People and Culture Committee. As I said earlier, Jan also stood in on occasions as the director of the Dandenong Community Advisory Board. I'm happy on behalf of the SECL board to nominate that Jan Cormack be elected a life member of Southeast Community Links as of this annual general meeting for her outstanding service over 9 years. And I see that Mariam Ritchie has moved that motion and that Knowles Tivendale has seconded that motion. And I have much pleasure in putting the motion that this annual general meeting acknowledges and elects Jan Cormack as a life member for Southeast Community Links. All those in favour? To the contrary, no. Carried again with acclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formal proceedings of this annual general meeting. It just goes without saying that I should again thank my fellow board colleagues for their support over the last year, and certainly to the CEO for his fine work in melding together a fantastic team of staff, students and volunteers in what's been another continuing difficult year. I'd particularly like also to thank Renee and Junior and Lorraine and Jessie and Khadija and Husham for their incredible performance in putting this AGM together today and for making it so successful and hopefully informative for all of you at home. Thank you all for your attendance. And as I said earlier, we look forward to seeing you live and face-to-face this time next year. Many thanks. The SECL annual general meeting is closed.
Thanks, Ross. We might just close with maybe playing one or two of the videos as people tune out. We've got a couple of minutes. So Junior or Renee, if you just want to play a couple more of the videos, and we'll finish the meeting as people drop off.
Where are you going? The past couple of years have been hard. I have learned that when I exercise, I feel better. So I'm heading to play basketball. Oh, that's cool. When I'm feeling low or stressed out, the best thing I can do is to get up and move my body. Even 10 minutes of exercise makes a difference.
Yeah, I don't really go out. I feel tired most days.
Do you have any hobbies or play sports?
Not really.
Perhaps you can try some activities.
TikTok dancing video, gardening, playing soccer, beach, setting up a picnic with friends, go for a hike up a mountain, dancing to cultural dances, talking to friends while walking outdoors, roller coaster ride.
Want to give it a go?
Nah, I have a fear of heights.
Haha, I mean basketball.
Oh,
Sure.
you know I'm pretty good. Are you sure?
Okay, LeBron James, show me what you got.
Was even better to watch it the second time.
Fantastic. Thanks, everyone. It might be, is there one more, Renee or Junior, to play?
No, I think we close.
Okay. Meeting will be closed. Thank you again for your support.
ماشي وين السنة اللي فاتت كان صعب وتعلمت أي فرصة نطريت كويس معي. ماشي نلعب كورة. Oh, that's cool.
وانا كنت ما مبسوط احسن حاجه لي عشان نلعب كوره حتى كان رياضه 10 دقيقه.
هاي انا مرات ما بمشي برا، انا تعبان كل يوم.
وانت بتريد الرياضه؟
Not really.
ممكن تجرب رياضه ثانيه. تيك توك، العب كره القدم، بحر، بيكنيك، اركب الجبل، الرقص، كلم مع الصحبان، حديقه. عايز تجرب؟
لا انا هاي.
انا قاصد كوره.
اوكي تعرف انا كويس.
اوكي وريني ميسي.
One more, Renee. Come on, let's go. Last one. Maybe not. Thank you, folks. It's just on 5 o'clock. We'll finish early as we always do here. Thank you. Bye.